Hello, everybody. I hope you're all okay. Wednesday evening, 2 weeks before the election. Um, Exciting times. It's been a while since I've done one of these. For those that have not followed me before or have not seen um, too much of me before as an MP, I used to do these once a month on a Friday night. Always enjoyed doing them. Always had a good response. Even when people didn't agree with me, I still think they appreciated the fact that I was out there answering your questions. We've put two posts out. We put one out yesterday advertising this, and we've put another one out this morning. And so we've got a few questions. As always, we've got quite a few comments and statements, which I will try and read a few of those out. But obviously, if you've got questions that you want to ask now, if I can pick them up, then I will. We're at a critical moment in Doncaster's future. It really is desperately time for a change from what we've had for this last 12 years. In fact, in all fairness, what we've had for the last 5 decades in Doncaster. And we need somebody with new ideas. We need somebody with the experience, not just in politics, but in business and in life. And we need somebody who cares about Doncaster. And I don't think there's anybody ticks those boxes more than me. Now, you could say, well, you're bound to say that, Nick. Well, it's not just me that's saying this. I'm getting stopped on the streets time and time and time again by people coming up, shaking my hand, whether that's been in Doncaster this morning, whether it was Thorn later on this afternoon. Wherever I go, I get that kind of response. So it's super critical. I know people are genuinely upset with the state of the country, nobody more so than me. But this election is about Doncaster. It's not about anything else. It's about Doncaster. And so it's imperative that we have the right person leading it. 4 more years of what we've had, or 4 more years of inexperience and calamity, will just put Doncaster at the bottom of the pile again. And we can't have that. We can't let it happen. So if you know people who have never voted Conservative before, you need to tell them this is critical for Doncaster. There's only one person on the ballot sheet that's got the experience to lead Doncaster and lead it to a better future, and that's Nick Fletcher. And for those that are thinking of voting reform, I understand, I get it. You've been let down by the main parties, by the two main parties. You feel let down. You believe you've been let down. But unfortunately, reform have put somebody up who's not fit to do the job. It might be okay as a councillor. It might be. It might be okay in 20 years' time to be a mayor. Who knows? But at this moment in time, is the wrong person. Now, Nigel Farage might come along and do these big events and this, that and other. He actually has to ask people to pay to come and see him. But nevertheless, you might do that. But that doesn't make any difference. I believe it's true that they were let down by their candidate probably a fortnight before, a week before, and they couldn't find anybody else to do the job of mayor. And so I believe they've bullied this young person into doing this job. And if he wins, he's going to be in a terrible state. And if he wins, Doncaster's going to be in a terrible place too. So you know what to do, folks. You need to vote for Nick Fletcher. Some of you will be getting your voting slips. I'll be doing a video on that probably over the weekend. I've got mine. I'll be looking forward to opening it, putting my cross on the thing, guaranteeing one vote there, which is great. And I'll show you how to go through it. Some people like me to do this. It's always gone down well. So that's what I'll do. And hopefully we can get enough votes, get over the line and get Doncaster to where it needs to be. So just had a few comments come up. Jan, good to see you. Good to see you, Jan. Amazing work, thank you. Louise posted my vote today for you. Thank you, Louise. Jackie, I put my cross next to your name. Florence, you're the best person for the job, Nick. Jackie Middleton. Hey, Jan. A bit of a conversation going on there, which is amazing. It's fantastic. What we need to do is we need to make sure all these conversations are happening in the street and in the community. And when this happens, then we all start coming together. We all start feeling better. We all start feeling valued. We all spend money in the shops. And so this community on Facebook's great. But I believe that creates half of the problem with isolation. What we need to be doing is coming together. And if I'm there, I'm going to do all I can to make sure Doncaster comes together. We're going to have a great time. I'm going to have a fantastic time. But we obviously need to get it over the line first. So anyway, Andrew, I think it's Andrew and David, or it might be Andrew David. You spoke of better road conditions, sort the potholes out. I couldn't agree with you more. Where's all the money going? We keep spending all this money and we seem to get an awful lot of poor repairs. One of the first things that I will do when I'm a mayor is go over and find out exactly what's getting off. Where's the money being wasted? How can we attend to them quickly? I'm going to get the app launched again. We used to have an app for fly tipping and for potholes. We need to get those up and running again so people can actually report them very, very quickly. And I think Doncaster Council has been sued so many times because of damage to wheels and tyres because of potholes. And we're paying fortunes for clearing up fly tipping. So we always seem to be doing the work after and spending the money after the event. We need to be doing it before, don't we? Now, I know talk's cheap, talk's easy, but I'm sure there's better ways we can do it. So, yeah, definitely on your side with that. Another question, will you commit to a branch and file review of all council spending and see where taxpayers' money is being spent? One thing I will do is make sure I know where all that money is being spent. The problem is we have with socialism is that they don't understand how difficult it is to earn money. I speak to businesses on a daily basis, and the businesses are the ones that actually employ people too. And the work that goes into making a business successful, the hours and hours and hours that people don't see. Well, I know what you're doing, and I know you're trying hard, and this council should be doing everything it can to support you. And if we can support the businesses, then we can get the taxes in, and we can get it spent wisely and get it spent as it should be spent on the things that you want it spent on. I mean, that's all we've got to do. Surely to goodness, this has got to be in some ways the easiest job, because I just listen to you and you say, Nick, we want to do this. And I say, right, let's see how we can do this, but let's see how we can do it as cheaply as possible. I don't think the easiest way to just get more money is to turn taxes, to ask for more taxes. That's the last thing that we should be doing. We should be growing the pot, as in growing the businesses. That's what we should be doing, not trying to take more and more and more off individuals, which is unfortunately what this government's doing. So, yeah, I will make sure that every penny that you've got, every penny that the council's got is spent as wisely as possible, because I know how hard it is for you to earn. Joanne and Gary, you spoke about potholes. Yeah, exactly. I've already dealt with that, so thanks for that. Kay, I know you spend a lot of time on social media supporting me, so huge thanks for that. I know you keep spreading the word, and it's really, really appreciated, so thank you for that. You want me to get rid of MAM, who have took over Doncaster Market. I can't promise I can do that. I can't promise. I've not seen the contract, what MAM is. Basically, the council privatised our market, and our market is seemingly being run into the ground. Most of the market traders are terribly disappointed with the way the market's being run. Can I hold MAM to the fire? Yes, I can. Can I make sure that they look after our market better? Yes, I can. Will I work with the market traders to make Doncaster a success? Yes, I can. Will I bring in free parking? Yes, I can. Will I clear the beggars? Yes, I can. Will I look after the ones on the street that really need our help? Yes, I can. Will I really look after the veterans on the street? Yes, I can. Will I make town a safe place? Yes, I can. But can I do something with that contract with MAM? I'm not 100% certain, and I won't promise anything. I won't promise anything that I can't do. I've said I'll do all the other things. I will bring in that free parking. I will do everything I can to get rid of those beggars. I will do what I can to look after those veterans and bring them in, make sure that we look after them. It's so, so important that we do that. Will I keep the streets clean? Yes, I can. These are the things that I can do, and I'll do everything I can. But the contract, we'll have to have a look at it. We'll see what needs to be done. But I'll make sure that they are following that contract to the letter. And if they're not doing one thing right, I will make sure that they do. Okay, so we'll make sure that we're on that. Wendy, what will be different if I'm mayor? Wow, everything. Everything will be different. You've seen a decade of decline, haven't you? You've seen a decade of an absent mayor. You've seen a decade of somebody sat in an ivory tower being told by lots of people around her that everything's wonderful. And we know it's not. We know it's absolutely disgraceful. The mayor only last year sent out a big survey. We've got 6,000 results back, this, that and the other. It must have cost a fortune to have that survey done. She didn't need to do one thing of it. She didn't need to pay for any surveys. All she had to do was get out of her ivory tower and walk the streets like I do every single day. That's where I'm going. That's what I'll be doing. Finding out what's going on. Not listening to other people who tell me everything's rosy when quite clearly it's not. Need to get out, talk to the public, the people that have voted me in, if that's what happens, and that's what we need to do. And you'll see a huge difference. Free parking, as I said, safe city centre, get that market thriving again. These are the things that people are wanting. Sorting the potholes out. It's not rocket science. We just need to do it. But I will say one thing. I can only do all these things if, one, you vote for me, and two, you support me once I'm in. Vote for me to get me there, but continue that support if I do win. So, so important. I can't do this without you. I can only do it with you. And I will do everything that I can. I need you, all the public of Doncaster, to come together and help me. And I'll, with you, we'll make Doncaster great again. Right. So, where is the money coming from for these improvements? Free parking, etc., when Doncaster has been lumbered with a large airport bill. The free parking, there's pots of money that are coming from central government that I got. It'll be another one of those that get packaged up as a Labour, like they did with the airport last week, like they're doing with levelling up fund money. It's all their idea at the moment. Flipping heck, honestly, it makes me laugh. Unbelievable that they bring the Prime Minister up to repackage £30 million as though it's new money, and everybody comes and there's clever people across this town who've backed this, and you go, whoa, hang on, that's the same £30 million that Nick Fletcher got for the rail link 2 years ago before it closed. So we'll be having none of that. But there are pots of money. There's £2 million a year. That was 75 towns and cities across the United Kingdom. That's £20 million, £2 million a year over the next 10 years. And that's what the money that we'll use there. We'll use part of that money there. There'll be savings, obviously, from other places. There's lots of places to get this money from. It's just down to choices. And I believe free parking will be one of the best things that we can do to get our town busy again. So that's where the money's going to come from. Lots of the other things, by the way, that I've said, if you read my manifesto, it's here, Nick Fletcher manifesto, the only candidate to produce a manifesto, that just proves how much the other candidates think of the people of Doncaster. Going to put a leader in charge of £700 million budget, the biggest borough in the country, 330,000 people, and they cannot even be bothered to put a manifesto together. I think reforms has been written on the back of a fag packet. That's what they think of you. That's what Nigel Farage thinks of Doncaster. That's what he thinks. I think we're worth more than that, don't you? But I'd love you to read this. It's online, it's on my Facebook page, and I've been around all the businesses in Doncaster. Well, not all of them, but an awful lot of them. And I've delivered a copy of this. And there's my 12 core pledges there, as you can see. And then I do a page talking to the young people and to the 30s and 50s. And then to those of us over 50, don't like being in that category. But there you go. And then there's a 30 things strategy. There's 30 things that the people of Doncaster can do to help make Doncaster safe again and make Doncaster great again. So that's where I need you to. I need you to read that. If I'm elected, I need you to really, really read that. In fact, I need you to read it now, because if I win, I need you on board straight away. I'll do my bit, need you to do your bit too. Anyway, I hope you have a really good read of that. I'll have to get on with the questions. Anne-Marie, bring better paid jobs and prosperity to the city, led by the airport and Gateway East. Could not agree more. I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but when I was a Member of Parliament, I asked Tesla and Apple to come up here. And Apple sent somebody. And I said to them, when I took him for afternoon tea at the Mount P, I said, I bet people, MPs ask you to do this all the time, don't they? And mayors and such like. No. I said, what do you mean? There must be a few. He says, no. I said, what? Not any. And he said, no. You're the first MP, Nick, that's asked Apple to come to Doncaster. In fact, you're the first MP that's asked me to come anywhere. And you're like, wow. Wow. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. We will do better than that. But you need me as your mayor. So, yeah, couldn't agree more, Anne-Marie. Lots and lots of good jobs. Shell Richardson, bring back community and real humanity, help in love and compassion. Couldn't agree more. That's why I've said I'm going to have the Union flag flying across all the council buildings, and I want everybody, every single person in Doncaster to look at that Union flag and know that their mayor's got their back. It doesn't matter what they believe in, doesn't matter anything about them. They know if they are legally entitled to be here and they've made Doncaster their home, their mayor has got their back. I'm going to do everything that he can to make Doncaster the place that they feel proud of. And that's what I'm going to do. And as I said right at the beginning of this Facebook, it doesn't need to be all done on here. We need to be actually getting out and talking to people and speaking to each other, getting those tills ringing in those shops, getting those parks used, getting all the things that we like to do, or we used to like to do before this decade of decline. We're going to bring all that back together again, and we can have a wonderful time. I know there's people commenting. Unfortunately, I've got a few to get through here, but I'll try and pick them up at the end. Nigel Turton, if your hard work canvassing pays off on the 1st of May, will your manifesto commitments be hampered if the Conservatives don't have a majority of ward councillor seats too? No. I've said right from the start that my cabinet will be made up of the best people. In my party, it'll be made up of the best people. We're in a place now where Doncaster can't afford to play party politics like we've had for the last 50 years. It's gone beyond that. You need somebody to lead from the front, but I know for me to be the best leader, I need the best people around me. And you'll have my assurance on that. There's a question later on this down. It says, will Labour work with you? That's down to Labour. If I'm mayor and there's a Labour councillor there who I believe can do a fantastic job, and I ask them to do it and they don't, there's not a lot I can do about that, but I will call them out. I will call them out. You work with me to make Doncaster great, otherwise people are going to know that it's you that stopped me. And that goes for everybody and everything all across Doncaster. You work with your mayor for the betterment of Doncaster. And if you don't, that's it, folks. People are going to know. We're going to make sure Doncaster works. It has to. Florence, would love the market back, the streets cleaned up and stopping people sleeping in doorways. Florence, couldn't agree with you more. I've covered that. I deal with it in here too. Always keep referring back to my manifesto. It's really important, and I know that's what you'll hold me account to in 4 years' time. I need to make sure that I've done what I've said in here. And that's why I'll walk the streets as well, because when I walk the streets, you'll say to me, come on, Nick, you wrote that down in here, what's happening? And I'll be always 100% truthful with you. Okay. Jane, funding for education in all areas, repair crumbling infrastructure, increase school funding and budgets, increase centre support. A lot of these, I think you're right. I think the communication is what's happened between the current Labour mayor and some of the schools. Some of the schools are in a bad repair. There's no two ways about it. but the communication between our mayor and the heads of these schools has been ridiculously poor, and that has to stop. Now, much of the money, if not all of it, comes from central government, and so I will have 120 plus MPs down in Westminster banging the drum for me up here. Not like Reform. If I was Reform, I'd only have 4 MPs banging the drum. I'll have 120 MPs banging the drum to make sure that we get the funding that we need for our schools. But the communication between the mayor and the maintained schools will be 100%. That's what it will be, nothing less. I will make sure that those lines of communication between everybody that really needs me is there all the time. And schools at the top of my priority. I got into politics for the kids of Doncaster and for Doncaster. And that's what I'm going to maintain. We've got to make sure we've got a great education for our kids. We've got to have fantastic role models. We're going to have youth clubs all over Doncaster for them. All over Doncaster for them. We're going to bring them out. We're going to get them off the phones. And we're going to get them communicating with each other. Give them things to do. Make them be proud. Expect the best of them at all times. We must expect the best of these kids at all times. It's so, so important that we expect the best. If we expect the best, we'll get the best. And when we get the best, we all flourish. It's in there. In my manifesto, when kids win, we all win. And that's so, so important. Right, just let's have a look. Phil, agree with everything. Oh, Phil, everything you wrote, is pretty much in my manifesto. So thanks for that. You know what to vote for. Charlotte, issues we face in Doncaster Town Centre, the high level of substance misuse, for example, drug use and discarded used needles. Look, Charlotte, I'm with you. I've got a plan for that too. I have got a plan for it, but it's something that I've been working on for a while. Get me elected and let's see what we can do. I know drugs is probably the single biggest problem across this borough, and we need to sort it out. But I can only sort it out if I'm elected and you all help me, because I know we can do that too. I know we can. Okay. Lynn, will MAM business, which runs the markets, be able to be cancelled? I think I've covered that one, Lynn, already. I hope you see it. Will Doncaster have the equivalent of Doge? One of our councillors put that forward. I think it's a fantastic idea. Look, we need to know where all the money's going, and we need to make sure none of it's being wasted. Obviously, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that's just a different league to where we are here. But nevertheless, every single penny of your taxes needs to be accounted for, needs to be allocated and invested properly, and that's what I will do. 30 years running my own business and being a Yorkshireman. Trust me, I'm careful with my money. Michael, I would support a daily 2-hour free parking in Doncaster, compulsory installation of solar roof panels on all new build properties, national issue that, although now they've got to do, after 2025, I think they've got to do one of 3 things: hair source, heat pump, solar panels. So I think we're on with that. Let's have a look what I say. Reduction in commercial rates This reduction in commercial rates, I need to go through and have a look. The rates are set by the national government as far as I am aware, but we need to have a look, see what we can do to at least entice people to come into these shops, but also keep the people that are already there too. So there's a huge piece of work that needs doing on that. I walked through the colonnades today and there's an A3 piece of paper up on one of the shops saying shop for let. I mean, I've called this out before to Doncaster Council. That must have been like that for 2 years. It looks filthy, it looks drab. The advert for it has just come off a photocopier. It looks disgraceful. Honestly, we've got to do better than this. I know we can do better than this. I don't think people would mind paying the rates if those shops were absolutely buzzing and those streets were buzzing all the time. And that's what the council needs to do. That's what it needs to do. What unfortunately what it's doing is we're charging a fortune, and yet we're making it difficult for motorists and everybody else to come in and spend money. So businesses are just being strangled and strangled and strangled, and that's why they just close. We've got to help the businesses. I'll do all I can. Right, we've got a quick 5 questions here. How would you work along council that will only probably not majority Conservative? I've already covered that one. I'll work with anybody. How will you select your cabinet? Already covered that one. I'll work with everybody. Do you think Labour councillors may refuse to cooperate with you? I've already covered that one. If anyone does, we'll call them out. 4. Will you initiate a regular mayoral question time? Yes, I will. And I'll do these Facebook Lives as well. It's in my manifesto. I've said I'll do it. I'll do it. 5. I don't know whether Simca has a voting system that is based on a majority voting or unanimity. Can and will you use a veto vote at Simca? I will use a veto vote at Simca. If they do not let me have the correct funding for Doncaster, I will call them out from the rooftops. Doncaster is 23% of South Yorkshire. I want 23% of any funding that is given to South Yorkshire from central government. I want 23% of that for Doncaster. I'm not asking for 24. I'm not unreasonable. We are 23% and I want that. And we need to stop paying for Sheffield trams. It's completely and utterly out of order. We have to stop that. And just regarding our airport, if we're going to call it South Yorkshire Airport, then South Yorkshire need to pay, which means Sheffield, Rotherham and Barnsley need to contribute too. And if we get any more visits from a Bassett Law MP, I'll be chasing them for money too. You're not coming here for the glory and not coughing up. So either keep away or bring your purse with you, one way or another. Okay, Michael Walmsley. The decline of shopping opportunities in town centre Frenchgate used to be superb and Debenham was always a go-to place for Christmas shopping. Now it's boarded up, disappeared. I'm going into the centre tomorrow for the first time in ages to give it another go and visit if it's open. Right, so look, I completely understand, Mark. I'm going to do all I can to make sure. I know you're a huge supporter on my Facebook page. Thanks for all your positive comments. Thanks, I know you'll be voting for me. And yeah, I hope your visit went well today. I had a fantastic day around Doncaster today. Did lots and lots of filming, spoke to lots and lots of people. Even had the Guardian come up, which was quite fun. But yeah, it was interesting. Right, let's have a quick look at some of these and then I'll get off. He's getting my vote. Wonderful. I'm a cyclist. Why you want to get rid of the cycle lane? Look, Paul, if we'd have put cycle lanes in where people were going to use them or where kids could have used them to get to school and back, that would have been a wonderful thing, wouldn't it? But no, we've put them across the entire Doncaster city centre, which you know and I know is only used by 15-year-olds that are doing goodness knows what, delivering goodness knows what, up and down derelict buildings that have been left to rot by this council. That's what's happened. So we know who's using these cycle lanes. And then on the main arteries into town, they've literally turned them into single carriageways so that if you have an ambulance behind you or a police car or a fire engine, you can't move out of the way. They've stopped the laybys for the buses to move in. Granted, it makes it easier for the buses to move about, but what about the 400 cars behind them that's causing traffic jams everywhere? I'm sorry, I'm not against cyclists, I'm not against cycle pass. What I am against is poor planning that's strangling Doncaster town centre, bringing chaos across everywhere, and unfortunately it's going to cost lives. Just imagine if an ambulance can't get through. What are we going to do? Oh well, yeah, but we've got to think of net zero. Nonsense. We've got to make sure that we have free flow of traffic and people can get out of the way for emergency vehicles. It's not rocket science. So don't think I'm against cyclists. I'm not. Not against them at all. But I do think cyclists should be on the road. I don't think they should be on the paths. Cyclists are all over just paths now, even the ones that are not cycle paths. We're knocking pedestrians over. It's just become, well, you can't, it's just dreadful out there at this moment in time. So we need car drivers to be responsible, give cyclists the distances that they need, but we need cyclists on the road, we need people on the paths, pedestrians on the paths. Right, let's have a look what else we got. John Moore, if you jump ship to reform, I honestly believe you would wipe out all the oppositions easily. Thanks, John. I appreciate what you're saying. But as I said earlier in this, I want to be part of a party that's got 120 MPs down in Westminster banging the drum for us, not for. I want to be a part of a party that has got a huge machine around it, which has been helping me massively in Doncaster. I don't give up on a party, even though sometimes I know people believe it's lost its way, and I've struggled with some of the things that have happened, but we've got a new leader. We've got a new leader now. And the other thing is with it as well, is that a lot of people don't realise this, but when you're an MP, there's a whipping system. They want you to vote along with the party. When I'm mayor, if I'm mayor of Doncaster, I literally will be able to lead this city how you, the people, want it to. There will be not people telling me what to do from Conservative headquarters. There won't be people from Westminster telling me what to do. I will be the mayor for the people of Doncaster. That's what I'll be. And just finally, honestly, did you want me to jump ship to Nigel Farage? I had ultimate respect for him until he put this 30-year-old male model in as the candidate for Doncaster to save his face. And somebody who's prepared to throw a 30-year-old under the bus and Doncaster under the bus, why do you think I'd want to go and work for somebody like that? I don't, and that's it. So there you go, folks. You've got me. I've not jumped ship. I'm staying loyal. I'll help sort the Conservative Party out. I'll be the best leader for you. I've got 120 plus MPs to shout for you down in London, and I'm not running a one-man show as in Nigel Farage. I'm running a 330,000 people show. That's what I'm going to run, because every 330,000 people in Doncaster count to me. Not a tick box to say, oh, we've won that, because that's what will happen if Nigel Farage wins. If Nigel Farage as young man wins, you won't see Nigel Farage again. You'll be left with a 30-year-old looking after that, looking after £700 million. That's what you'll end up with. And you won't see Nigel Farage for dust. He'll be down doing his GB News show on £500,000 a year, £90,000 a year as an MP, and trying to be an MP for Clacton on C2. So there you go. That's why I did it. Plus the fact is that my name's on the slip and it's there. So I'll put a cross in it. Fantastic. Hope you will. Craig, about extra 3 million for Edlington swimming pool. We do need a 25-metre swimming pool. We don't want a 20-metre swimming pool in Edlington. We want a 25-metre. Why should the folks of Edlington be second-class citizens? You don't call me two-tier Nick. You call me Edlington First Nick. You call me Doncaster First Nick. And we're all first-class citizens in Doncaster. On Edlington, they need a 25-metre pool, and that's what we'll get. What are your thoughts on the lack of banks and post offices in villages? Yeah, I completely understand it. I see yesterday that Conisbrough, it wasn't yesterday, it was a few days ago, the Conisbrough post office is shut. Banking hubs definitely seem to be the way forward. I managed to help get one in Thorn. I managed to get one in Rosington. I'll be trying for Conisbrough, maybe Mexborough too, and other places that need them. So if you think you need a banking hub, there's certain criteria, but drop me an email, get in the comments below, see what we can do. Banking hubs definitely seem to be the way forward. Okay, right, what's the plan for Mexborough? The plan for Mexborough. It's been great going over to Mexborough. I'm going to have to go in a minute because this ends up being too long. And my voice is going to be going in a minute. Mexborough, I've been over so many times. I'm pretty sure I've been to Mexborough more times than Ed Miliband's been. And anybody else, any other of these Labour MPs that just turn up for a photo shoot. So I've walked the streets. They've all had all the businesses have had these manifestos. I've been to the meetings. I've leafleted. Got some real support in manifesto in Mexborough. Went to a veterans meeting there last week. Went to a care home last week too. I want what's best for Mexborough. That's what I want. And same again. We need that market buzzing. We need the shops buzzing. We need the place buzzing. There's a lot of people upset about the cycle lane in Mexborough. So we'll see what can be done. See what can be done about that. That was part of the levelling up funding that I managed to get. It came from the Conservative government, but from you, the taxpayer. It's you that pays this money, by the way. So we'll see what we can do with that. Can't promise, but what I can promise is that if I win, you'll be seeing a lot more of me than you have already. And that means you'll see probably about 10 times more of me than you will of any of the other Labour MPs that have been about. Look, folks, I'm going to have to go. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been 35 minutes. I said I was probably only going to do 20 because I think it can get a little bit long. But I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you. Thanks for all the comments. I'll try and do another one of these before the election time. And the postal votes are dropping. You know what to do. If you want Doncaster to be fantastic, vote for me. If you don't want Doncaster to be great, vote for any of the others. But if you want it to be safe, you want it to be great, you want the best for the airport, you want someone to champion a new hospital, you want someone to sort the potholes out, you want someone to make your streets safe, and you want someone who's going to put the pride back in Doncaster, then you know what to vote for. Vote for Nick Fletcher. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you later, folks.